Recently, I've been filming more and more weddings, and with filming weddings comes the need to edit wedding films. And for me, one of the most important parts of a well-rounded wedding film is having good motion graphics and titles for the film. So when MotionVFX sent over their wedding video title pack, I was quite excited to try it out. And after several months of using this plugin, I would say it is a great asset for any wedding filmmaker. But that's enough talk about it. Let me show you what you can do with it. Let's jump into DaVinci Resolve. So before we begin, just want to disclose that MotionVFX did send this to me to review for free. However, they are not paying me to say anything, so all opinions in this video are my own. Special thanks goes out to MotionVFX for making this possible. Getting access to these effects, once you've installed them, is quite easy. They're just drag and drop from the effects window. Here, we're going to start with the titles. I've already dragged down my favorite ones into the timeline, but just to show you where you'd find them, they'll be under the titles, under the mWedding add-ons, lower thirds, and titles subcategories. Like I said, I have put some of my favorite ones to showcase on the timeline here, so you have a lot to work with, but I do have favorites, so I'll just show you those right now. The first one I kind of just made here was stacking two effects. So we have an add-on. This add-on was this heart add-on here. And what I did was I combined that with one of the titles to create this. And this is something that maybe I would put at the beginning of a wedding film, just to kind of introduce whoever's watching to whose wedding film it is, and the date that it happened, and just kind of a cool graphic just to catch their attention. And maybe put that before the video and then fade in to reveal the beginning of the video. The next effect I have here is another title. You can use it as an intro title starting the film. What I've also done is I've used this in wedding films as a location designator. So I'll have the date on there, but I'll also have the location where these names are instead. These are all fully customizable. So let's just say I don't like the color of that line. I want to make it red for some reason. Well, I can go in here and change it to red, and now I have that, but I don't like that, so I'm just gonna undo that. And then I just screwed up everything on the timeline, but we will ignore that. After that is this. This is just kind of a cool animation piece, love at the same time. You can kind of change that to be whatever you want. Like I said, everything is fully customizable. I like the fonts that they come with by default. Normally when it comes to title packs and whatnot, I don't like the fonts that they give me, but these fonts are very well chosen for wedding films. They look great. And they complement each other. I only really messed with the color. I don't think it looks good at this brightness. I just brighten it up a little bit, and there we go, it looks great. This is another one I've used kind of in place of like the venue. So, we'll have the venue at the top, whatever the name is, and then the name of the bride and groom below it. And you can just zoom in here on the animation. And I am at a 1080p timeline right now, but you do have the option to go and make it a 4K quality timeline. You see, it's gonna make me redo the render cache there, but you have that option, and it looks great. It probably doesn't show up as well on YouTube, but you can scale it up for basically whatever size timeline you have. The animation is super nice, and it would have, it's possible to make something like this in Fusion yourself, but it would take forever, and then it's not drag and drop. This just simplifies it. You can just drag and drop it onto the timeline, customize it very easily. Here's another example. I'd like to use this in my wedding films because most of the weddings I film are Christian weddings because I'm a Christian and I just film Christian weddings. So I put a Bible verse at the end. There are lots of verses in the Bible about love and how they can be applied to marriage. And so we have the verse here, and then you can put like the reference, the verse there, and it kind of animates really nicely. Kind of cool. Not something like super flashy, but it's readable. And I like to put that at the end of the video. Something that you could do with that. And there's other things. Maybe you can put like a quote someone said. Maybe it's from the toast. You're putting this up on the screen at the same time. Yada, yada, yada. You got a lot of control with that. I didn't mention it earlier, but they do have lower thirds. I haven't really used these too much, but I do have an example I'll show you in a moment with some of the lower thirds. But yeah, every single one of these looks great. There's nothing to say about the visuals aside from like they're awesome. I will say, you may want to customize the color a little bit or the font, but I think they look great straight as they are. Next up, they also have some effects. So if you go into the effects panel, they have some effects here. I'm not gonna go through every single one here. You can see they have a blurring effect, a bokeh effect, a dust effect, a film effect, a flare effect, light diffuse, yada, yada, yada. My favorite ones here are these three that I've highlighted. So we'll start with this one. This is a clip I've graded. I am considering making a whole tutorial on my wedding color grading. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. But for all intents and purposes, we're gonna look at this effect that you can kind of add on top. I like to do these on adjustment clips that way so I have the ability to take them off if I want. This effect is the blurring effect. And basically what this does is it animates on a blur to kind of bring focus to the subject of the shot. And so in the case of a wedding film, you want to bring attention to the bride and groom. We did that right here. And you have control over like how strong the blur is and all that. And I think it looks good right there. Not really necessary for every single shot, but if there's one shot where there's a lot of clutter in the background and you just want to bring attention straight to the bride and groom, this is a great way to do it. After that is another really cool effect called the light effect. They have a few different presets for this one, but one I really like is this one I've kind of customized here for this clip. And let's just say you want to spice up a clip a little bit. So this is the clip, normally, great clip, but let's just say we want to spice it up and add some light. So there we go. It's really cool. It's like a special light leak. It doesn't look like a cheap, cheesy light leak that you've seen in other places. You can fully customize the location, rotation, amount, saturation, all those things for the light leak. And they have different presets for it as well, which is awesome. And then this next clip, I kind of combined a bunch of effects. So we'll start with this clip. Obviously color graded. It's just a slow motion clip of the bride running up and hugging the groom. But I've added on a few different effects and titles to combine it into one whole thing. Shout out to my friend Sam, who had me on to film his wedding. He's a legend. So we'll do the effect I chose. I chose the light diffuse effect, which is basically the same thing as the glow effect in DaVinci Resolve. The thing is, I've already added glow and I'm just adding more. It's hard to go wrong with glow when it comes to wedding films. Obviously you can overdo it, but nothing too crazy. I've dialed it into the exact threshold I like. But if you're looking for a nice, easy drag and drop glow effect, this is it. It's included with it. And so it just kind of takes the clip to the next level, makes it look a little dreamy. And it makes the skin tones look nicer, I will say. That's a great benefit. And then let's just say, we'll add on a title to that. So I've used one of the lower thirds here, and it will animate on in the bottom. And so in addition to that, I also added this little animation of like a, love arrow being shot. Kind of cool. And it just works great for the clip. And the great thing is that these are retimable. So let's just say, I want it to be longer, the title will show up longer. You can drag it out and it will play for longer. Now I did have it pre-rendered so it wouldn't lag while I had the screen recording on, but you get the point. So I will say overall, I mainly just use the titles when it comes to actual wedding films. At the beginning of a video, I'll have the title, and at the end, maybe somewhere mid-through, I'll have like a subtitle or one of the lower thirds. Not really use the icons too much aside from just having them kind of behind. This one's at a lower opacity, like 30% opacity behind. But yeah, overall, I would say definitely worth the buy. If you are considering it, it is $99, but if you are a wedding filmmaker and you're doing it consistently, that pays for itself very quickly. And I have been using this in every single wedding film I've worked on this year. It is super simple, super awesome, and super thankful that MotionVFX was able to send it over to me. But overall, yes, I would recommend buying this. Even if you're not going to use any of these effects, I would say for the titles alone, it makes it really easy just to drag and drop titles onto your wedding films. Obviously, you can make them yourself, but this just makes it simple for you. And I would say it's a great value, especially if you're consistently doing wedding work. Easy one-time purchase, and it will pay for itself many times over. That's about it. If you're interested in purchasing it, you can take a look at the link in the description. It is an affiliate link, so if you do purchase it from that link, it'll support me in the work I do here on this channel. I greatly appreciate it, and that's pretty much it for this video. I appreciate you watching, especially to the end. If you enjoyed, you know what buttons to click. My name is Rocco Germani, Jesus loves you, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.